All right, let's shift focus now. U.S. President Donald Trump's campaign of sending back illegal aliens is coming home to roost. The Trump administration has sought the U.S. military's help to assist the immigration agenda by sending additional troops to the southern border, U.S.-Mexico border. They're also using military aircraft to deport migrants and opening military bases to house them. Deportation flights have carried migrants who have been deemed as illegal to Guatemala, to Peru and Honduras. And now the first such flight, a C-17 military helicopter, is in the air right now, headed towards Amritsar. It's expected to land in Amritsar in the wee hours of tomorrow morning. India is the farthest destination that these U.S. military aircraft will be flying with supposed illegal aliens. This deportation is the first since the return of Donald Trump to the White House. It also comes a few days before Prime Minister Modi visits the United States for the first visit to the White House under Trump 2.0. So a C-17 military transport aircraft carrying over 200 quote-unquote illegal Indian immigrants departed from San Antonio in Texas for Amritsar in Punjab. Upon landing, they will be debriefed first, as the agencies believe it's important to know the antecedents of the people who had gone to America illegally. This flight with illegal immigrants will not be landing in Delhi. This is part of a strategy, the bilateral meeting between Dr. Jaishankar and Marco Rubio, which happened a couple of weeks ago. It set the stage for the repatriation of as many as 18,000 illegal Indian immigrants. The figure could be much higher than that, though it's unclear how many exactly are there illegal Indian immigrants in the US. As per data from the American government, Indians accounted for 3% of all illegal border crossings in 2024, and over 1,000 were deported from the United States just in the last year. The External Affairs Minister had said that New Delhi will verify the documents of all of these people, and if they found to be Indian citizens, then they will be happily accepted.
We had a discussion on a range of issues, and one of the issues which came up was actually mobility of people. Now, we have a position on mobility which is a principal position, applies to all countries. As a government, we obviously are very much supportive of legal mobility because we do believe in a global workplace. We want Indian talent and Indian skills to have the maximum opportunity at a global level with every country, and the US is no exception. We have always taken the view that if there are any of our citizens who are not here legally, if we are sure that they are our citizens, we have always been open to their legitimate return to India. I've seen some numbers. I caution you about them because for us a number is operative when we can actually validate the fact that the individual concerned is of Indian origin. And the fact that at our end we have to verify that they are indeed Indians, because naturally there are sensitivities involved there as well.
Now, there are no definitive figures on how many illegal Indian immigrants are there in the US, but there is a Pew Research Center study in 2022 which is based on the US Census Bureau data. There are approximately 725,000 illegal Indian immigrants currently in the US. India is the third largest source of unauthorized immigrants in the country. The first happens to be Mexico with more than 4 million, and then second is El Salvador. In total, there are estimated to be something like 11 million illegal immigrants in the United States. So the illegal immigrants find themselves in various stages of the legal process. First, of course, happens to be detention. Now, some individuals who are currently held in temporary detention centers, which is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, under the new border czar Tom Homan. Then there is the second stage, which is the final removal orders, which are issued by these tribunals or temporary courts. A significant portion of these individuals, in fact, more than 17,000 of them, are under these final removal orders, meaning that they have been ordered to leave the United States by these temporary courts of law, but they've not been deported yet. So the number of people who are being brought back, including the one in the C-17 military transport aircraft right now en route to Amritsar, are part of those who are part of this final leaving order. And then the remaining 2,500 odd are individuals who are in detention and who are yet to face their trial or to be given a final deportation order by a court of law. All right, so that C-17 U.S. military transport aircraft expected to land in Amritsar in the next few hours, and this is coming just a week before the Prime Minister heads out to the White House. Let's go across to strategic affairs expert Professor Brahma Chalani, who's now joining us. Professor, let me start with the first part of the discussion on this. So The US says there are close to 18,000 illegal Indian immigrants who it wants to repatriate back to India. The first flight of about 200 is on its way to Amritsar. Why does one get the feeling that India is sort of going out of its way just to please Mr. Trump before the visit to the White House next week?
Trump clearly means business. The fact that he has invited Modi to visit the White House next week while deporting the first batch of illegal Indian migrants by military aircraft sends a no-nonsense message. He wants to advance his core agenda, and illegal migration is at the center of his agenda. So he is going to demand that India accept these deportees, and obviously India has agreed to accept them. That's the reason why this military aircraft is going to land in Amritsar. But the only good news for India is that it's the US that is paying for these deportations by sending a military aircraft. Each deportee will cost the US more than $4,000. It's better that they pay for the flights rather than India sending chartering aircraft to bring back these illegal migrants.
But Professor, one thing is, okay, 200, 500, even 18,000, even though the External Affairs Minister, when he was at the White House, when he went to the US for the inauguration of Trump, he said, I would be careful about that figure. But the Pew Research Center estimates there are more than 700,000 illegal Indian immigrants in the US. If the US were to decide to send all of them back, that would be a huge cost on the Indian government, on the Indian state.
You're right, Zakka. What Trump wants is to show to his constituency at home that is able to deliver on his core promises. So if he can deport, let's say, a few thousand to Latin America, a couple of thousand to India, a few thousand to China, that would tell his constituency that he's a man who sticks to his word. I don't think we expect him to deport 18,000 or whatever the figure is, the legally settled Indians in the US.